welcome to another LouisvilleWargaming.com Battle Report. Today we have the Lizardmen, their new book, taking on the Forces of Chaos. Both players have an even record so far going into the campaign, and with Chapter 3 going, the Forces of Order currently enjoy a one-game lead. This scenario will be a dawn attack, and what you're seeing right now is the terrain that has been generated for this battle. It's mostly hills, craggy rocks. This does take place in the Chaos Dwarf realm, so all hills in this game will be considered difficult terrain due to the extreme heat, and the river itself will also be a boiling river among anything else that's rolled due to the heat. So here we have the graph showing the basic layout of the table. Determining which side of the table they're going to be on. Looks like John wins 2-1, so the Lizardmen win 2-1. Let's see what side he decides to take.
This one right here.
Alright, so John decides to take the table. Edge on the left there. And here we have the initial deployment of the dawn attack. Almost everyone got to set up in the middle of the table, which was kind of nice for them. You can see here that the Chaos side's left flank is heavy on chariots and marauders, while only thing that the Lizardmen have are some skinks over the center of the line. Is heavily contested for both sides. Rot Knights sit on the right flank, and then two stout units of Chosen and Warriors make up the middle for Chaos. And they're going against a new series of units with the Saurus, the Carnosaur, the Stegodon, Temple Guard.
Alright, so today we got a unit of Rot Knights. There's 5 of those. They are packing lances, and they have a banner of swiftness. I have a unit of Chosen with halberds and shields. I have my level 4 Sorcerer Lord with a preservation amulet, and my BSB in that unit. The Sorcerer Lord also has a familiar to boost his channeling. This is a unit of normal warriors. They have additional hand weapons. They also have shields. And then I have Festus with them. And I have the Hell Cannon. And then a unit of 6 Marauder Horsemen with spears. And then I have 2 chariots on the far end. And basically the plan in the dawn attack is basically the same thing as always, is Chaos, is to get across the table as fast as I can and try to start slaughtering everything.
Alright. Sounds like a plan. Okay.
Alright, well, this over here is the unit of 30 Saurus with the BSB. Of course, it would get deployed all the way over there in the corner. But that does give a nice bubble over here that isn't touched by my slan, as far as like the General's Inspiring Presence. Skinks right here. 10 skinks, javelins, they're skirmishers. They're pretty much just going to try to poison stuff. That's what they do. Unit of 19 Saurus. Why 19, you ask? Because I was able to squeeze in that many with some points I had left over.
Right.
Scar Veteran on a Carnosaur. I'm really excited to use this guy. I mean, I've used him only a few times before, but with the new rules, got some cool new things that we can do. Especially with the Stegodon. Ancient Stegodon helm is nice. It gives him +1 toughness, and he gets impact hits, which is really cool. Got my Ancient Stegodon. This thing has been great to me. It's taken out many monsters. It's done really well. Hoping it does more. Keeps in line with what I'm trying to do. And of course, this is the infamous Slan Temple Guard. Pretty much, it's hard. I try not to base my game strategy off of magic sometimes, because we all know the winds of magic can be fickle. But when your main dude is arguably one of the best casters in the game, it's hard not to do. I'm really excited to see the new build for this guy because of our new book. He's got a lot of new things, a lot of neat things. He's definitely more balanced out than he used to be. So he's going to try to buff some stuff. Got a few tricks up our sleeves, see that later on if we can. And then moving on, we got 2 salamanders here. I usually run them in 3, but didn't have the points for them, so I just run them in 2. They did get hit weirdly They got kind of nerfed and kind of buffed because they got a strength 4 template rather than the strength 3, but they don't have a -3 to armor like they used to. So I'm kind of hoping on which way these guys are going to lean towards. I don't know. And hoping they can fry some warriors or something. Good templates and stuff like that. They always do me well, so I'm looking forward to that. And then got chameleon skinks on top of this hill over here. There's just 5 of them. They're hopefully going to try to plank some wounds off the chariots and the riders if they can. Try to keep them from making too big of a dent in my flank. Though I doubt just the skinks and salamanders over here aren't going to be able to hold this very long. So I might need to reroute my battle plan a little bit. And finally over here we've got the last unit of 10 skinks with blowpipes. They're deploying in the river. They're aquatic. They like water. Though it's going to be boiling water, you know. Tasty. We'll have some frog legs tonight. So that's pretty much my plan.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Yeah, I had none of these cards. Alright, well, I'm going to read off the lore attribute from High Magic just in case y'all aren't familiar with it.
What's the lore attribute?
It's for me, it's called Contemplations. If a spell from the lore of High Magic is successfully cast by a wizard from Warhammer Lizardmen, the caster can choose to forget that spell at the end of his magic phase.
Alright, so looking up here at the table, Chaos turn 1. There's nothing truly phenomenal here as you would expect. Chaos pushes all of their units forward with the exception of the Hell Cannon. So as the Hell Cannon sits back, it's getting ready to shoot, the other units move forward. Moving into the magic phase, the Chaos Sorcerer did manage to rip off a Purple Sun, and it went off with Irresistible Force, and then it was miscast, so the Purple Sun was centered right on top of the Chaos Forces. Their high initiative saved them from any major casualties, but that kind of started to set the tone of the game. In the shooting phase, the Hell Cannon was able to direct hit the chameleon skinks on top of the hill and killed 3 of the 5. So other than that, that was the first Chaos turn. Alright, the Lizardmen, their movement phase actually hurt them a little bit because they had to move through the boiling river. The skinks on the upper left-hand corner, they dropped a couple of them to the boiling river, which also came out to be a necrotic ooze. So by the time they got to the wall, there was only 6 of their initial 10. The 2 chameleon skinks, one died from being on the hill. That left just one to jump off of the hill to try to redirect or get in the face of the oncoming Chaos Marauders, whatever he would do. Kind of interesting to see. The salamanders also take a wound from the river as they waded through the boiling water. The temple guard and everything else moved up, as you can see by the diagram. The stegodon and the skinks really head up to the middle part of the table, and the carnosaur is kind of heading in the back behind the stegodon looking to support him, and then the battle standard bearer and his saurus up in the upper right hand corner, they're starting to move down to try to get into the battle and get in front of the Chaos Warriors. In marching off of the hilltop, the battle standard bearer Saurus lost 4 to the difficult terrain. It left 26. The magic phase was really where the Lizardmen took it to Chaos. They had ended up with 11 power dice, and then got an extra one from the slan, so they were sitting at 12 dice. They really targeted Festus's unit of Chaos Warriors, which are the turquoise warriors in the video. He got nailed with Soul Quench, which took out 2 warriors. Then he cast Hand of Glory on the Stegodon that boosted his ballistic skill up for the upcoming shooting phase from Hell. The Apotheosis healed the wounded salamander that had crawled through the river. Then Arcane Unforging was cast at the Nurgle Sorcerer Lord, which didn't do any damage but destroyed the familiar. Walk Between Worlds ended up failing on the Stegodon, and then the Slan went ahead and swapped out Soul Quench and Apotheosis for the Searing Doom and Wild Shape from the Beasts. The shooting phase, the skinks on the left flank shot out at the chariot. The chameleon skink actually was able to wound, the lone chameleon skink was able to wound one of the chariots coming in, and then the Stegodon opened up with 4d6 shots up at Festus's unit again, took out 3 more. There was only 15 of those warriors left, And then the Skinks on top added another casualty with a javelin, leaving 14 Chaos Warriors left. In the end, the last bit of shooting was the Skinks on the right, and they threw some poison at the Rot Knights and were able to do a couple wounds, but the Rot Knights' armor saved them. So going at the end of turn 1, the Lizardmen had done considerable damage mainly to Festus's main unit, dropping that Chaos Warrior block from 20 to 14. Alright, Chaos turn 2 would begin. They had to make up some ground from having the center of their line get hit so hard. So in the charge sequence here, you can see that those Knights the Chaos Warriors, the Festus, they're going to charge the Stegadon. And charging the Stegadon is going to stand and shoot and actually do 4 more wounds, leaving just 11 guys. And Festus's unit's going to turn around and flee. This left the Chosen unit to then declare a charge and was actually able to get into the Stegadon. The Rot Knights on the right flank go ahead and they declare a charge, and they go slamming into the Skinks right on the right flank there. Over on the left, the Marauder Horseman charges at the lone Chameleon Skink, and the 2 chariots charge at the other Skinks hiding behind the wall. One fails a difficult terrain roll, that's hitting the wall, and Brad rolls 1 and ended up doing 5 or 6 wounds and killing one of the chariots. Only one chariot actually gets into combat. So those are all the charges going on right now. So Chaos is stuck in pretty good. Now, in the magic phase, the aspect of the Dread Knight was cast onto the Chosen Warriors, which would allow them to cause terror, as well as the Stegadon caused terror, because Brad didn't want to fail another leadership check after he had failed the Festus's unit. He ended up rolling a 9 on that leadership, and that was the main weakness of having the Wizard Lord, is he only had an 8 across his army, so he didn't want to have to take another chance and fail a fear check, and ended up being, weapon skill 1. In the shooting phase, the Hell Cannon was able to get another direct hit off on the Salamander and destroyed one more of the Salamanders, so there was only one Salamander left on the Lizardman army. In combat, the Horseman versus the Chameleon, of course that's a pretty easy one, the Chameleon dies. The lone chariot slams into the Skinks. It kills 4 just off its impact, hits alone. He's able to kill all the Skinks, run them down, and he goes bolting across the river to the other side to relative safety there. The Rot Knights versus the Skinks. The Rot Knights will go ahead and slay all the Skinks. Actually, they kill every Skink to a man. So the Skinks are there, and he elects to hold the Rot Knights as he's now in the middle between 2 units of Saurus that are on either side of his. He didn't want to expose both of his flanks, so he chose to stay. The Chosen Warriors versus the Stegadon. The Chosen Warriors were actually able to inflict 2 wounds to the Stegadon, and then the Stegadon was unable to do anything back to it until its Thunder Stomp, where it killed 6 of the Chosen. So overall, with the ranks and everything, the Chosen ended up winning, but Stegadon held due to its being stubborn. Alright, so the Lizardmen turn 2. They're going to come ahead and they're going to push at the center even harder. The Carnosaur is going to go ahead and charge the Chosen Warriors in the middle there and team up with Stegadon. That'll be the only charge that the Lizardmen make at this point. The Salamander up in the flank is going to move towards the center, and he is going to flank the Chosen Warriors as well, or prepared to charge anyway. And then both units of Saurus Warriors are going to move into flanking positions near the Rot Knights, who held last turn. In the magic phase, Hand of Glory goes off at the Old Blood on the Carnosaur, which boosts his weapon skill up, gives him a weapon skill of 8. And then Walk Between Worlds is cast on the center Saurus Warrior unit. You can see their greater movement distance on the chart. And they are now in a really good flanking position on the Rot Knights, which basically gives them a choice. No matter which Saurus unit they charge, if they don't break them, they're going to be hit in the rear, more than likely. And the last spell was Wild Form, which was cast on the Carnosaur, but that was actually dispelled. In the shooting phase, the Salamanders go ahead and continue to peg on Festus's unit, and they nail him with some more Fire Breath, and Festus's unit is now down to 6 models at this point. In hand-to-hand combat, the Carnosaur comes in and roars a challenge. The Chosen Champion steps up, and actually he's the one that declares a challenge, and the Carnosaur eats the Chosen Champion. But that's all the damage he can do this turn. The Chosen unit inflicts 2 more wounds on the Stegadon, so that was 2 last turn and 2 this turn. So now the Stegadon's left with 1 wound. And then the Stegadon is going to go ahead and kill 3 with his Thunderstomp, leaving 10 Chosen left. The Chosen win again, and the Stegodon and the Carnosaur both stay, and that is Lizardmen turn 2. They're looking like they're in a pretty good position, though, maneuver-wise. Alright, Chaos turn 3. The only charge will be the Rot Knights charging the Spear Source on the far right. They've committed to that. You can see that there's 5 Rot Knights left on this charge. On the rally check for Festus, needing a 9, he rolls a 10, so Festus keeps fleeing with his warriors. Now they're an inch away from the table edge. And in crossing over the hill, which is dangerous terrain, 2 of the 6 die, so now there's only 4 of them. Over on the left, the Chariot goes ahead and starts heading back towards the middle, and the Marauder Horsemen go into a snake formation, and they start keyholing that gorge through the river, trying to threaten the Salamanders on the left. In the magic phase, the Wizard Lord is able to get the Dread Knight off on his Chosen, so they now cause terror, and that'll offset the fear of the Stegodon and of the Carnosaur. In the shooting phase, the Hell Cannon is able to do a direct hit on the Saurus, threatening the Rot Knights. And even though they're going to hit 11, only 3 are actually going to take a wound due to a series of bad rolls. So the Saurus lose 3, and there's about 17 left. In combat, the main combat with the Chosen Warriors, the Sorcerer Lord has to issue a challenge because he's Chaos, and they have to issue challenges. So he challenges the Carnosaur Lord, and the Carnosaur Lord accepts. The Sorcerer Lord is able to do nothing. The Saurus Lord on top is able to do nothing, but the Carnosaur, he bites for 2 wounds, actually, because it does multiple wounds. And then the Thunderstomp kills the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, so at this point, Chaos has now lost their general. The Battle Standard Bearer for Chaos is able to slay the Stegodon with only 1 wound left, so it is now the handful of Chosen Warriors taking on Old Blood on a Carnosaur. The Carnosaur loses combat, but stays. Over on the right, the Rot Knights come plowing into the Saurus Warriors. Challenge is declared. We have 8 Saurus falling to the Rot Knights, leaving 17. And the Saurus, in return, knocked down a couple Rot Knights, leaving just 3 of those. So that battle is locked on the right after both units are done mauling each other.
No, like when I charge, that'll mean that this will be good for learning for people, because what happens is I'll close in on this one, but if I kill that, they're but if like what's happening is if I kill that, people are like, since it removes it and there's that space, people will be like, well, he can't attack. Not many people know that rule.
Alright. Lizardmen turn 3. They're hoping to push their advantage. So the Salamander is going to charge the Chosen in the left flank, and the Saurus in the center are going to charge the Rot Knights in the rear, and the Temple Guard are going to move forward a little bit towards the center of the table to kind of adjust their positioning. Other than that, that's really all that was needed to be done as far as Lizardmen's movement phase. In the magic phase, again, the Hand of Glory goes off on the Scar Veteran, bumping his weapon skill up to 9. Wild Form is cast on the Scar Veteran, and he gets that one off. So now the Scar Veteran's got boosted stats, and this land forgets the Walking Worlds and generates a life spell to try to heal. In hand-to-hand combat, the Carnosaur is going to eat the Chaos Battle Standard Bearer. So now the General and the Battle Standard Bearer have been killed by the Carnosaur. The Chosen try to wail on the Salamanders and are able to do nothing. The Salamanders are able to kill a Chosen, and the Chosen end up losing. They're steadfast, but they roll an 11, so they are without a Battle Standard Bearer, and they have failed their steadfast roll, so they flee. They actually flee 8 inches, and the Carnosaur comes after them with 6 inches, and the Salamanders go 7 inches. So the Chosen are able to actually get away, but now they are retreating, as well as what's left of Festus' unit. So the Chaos line at this point is pretty much tattered. Over on the right, the Rot Knights are engaged in a bitter battle with enemies to their front and to the rear. They're simply not able to do anything in combat. They end up losing, and they get beaten, and they flee. So the Rot Knights are taken out of the game on the right, and really at this point, at the end of turn 3, there's not much going for Chaos at this point. Alright, at this point in the game, we're looking at what's left of the Chaos battle line. You can see the Chosen are fleeing from the Salamanders. You see Festus in the back fleeing as well. Those are the victorious Saurus right there. Both the units, they have chased the Rot Knights up the steps of the Chaos Temple. You can see the 2 Rot Knights standing there defying the Saurus. And what a proper place to hold, really, on top of that temple. Alright. So Chaos, the Hell Cannon's going to go ahead and get engaged in this game now. It's pretty late, but Brad's rolling here to try to get his guys into combat with the Salamanders. You notice also that Saurus Old Blood has finally been killed. The Carnosaur died. So the Saurus Old Blood's running around on foot. So the Hell Cannon's going to easily move in to the Salamander's flank. And really, to sum up the remainder of the game, the Hell Cannon does kill the Salamander. The Old Blood is going to come launch himself out, and he's going to try to take on what's left of the Chosen Warriors. The Rot Knights are going to die on top of the throne, or the Temple of Skulls, but they go ahead and they actually go out with a pretty good bang there. The Slan and his Temple Guard are going to finish off the game by hammering into the Marauders hammering into the Hell Cannon. The Old Blood actually goes in on foot by himself and kills those 5 Marauders in the center of the table. So that was kind of epic. So there you can see the Old Blood has killed the Marauders single-handedly. All 5 have died, and now they're moving into the Hell Cannon. So now the Old Blood's smashing on the Hell Cannon. The Slan's going to come smashing in on the Hell Cannon, or Temple Guard are. And the Saurus are going to come on a front charge, and really that's the rest of the Chaos Army. That's game at that point. So Chaos met stiff competition in the Chaos Dwarf lands.
Alright, John.
My dice rolled really well, which is good. Magic phase was awesome for me. I'm loving the new Slan build. We've got a lot of new cool things. Of course, people would be upset about some of the really powerful stuff that we lost, but I think we did great. With the whole Contemplations lore attribute for Lizardmen for high magic just allows us to pretty much tailor list our spells to almost any army we're playing. And I rolled well. I had better placement. My units were in better positions a lot, forcing him to make decisions. I'll say what's good on his part was that he charged the Stegodon, because if he wouldn't have done that, the Stegodon would have run in there and probably done a lot of damage with the impact hits. One thing that really irritated me was the fact that both my Stegodon and my Carnosaur with the Scar Veteran on top of it couldn't do full damage to the units because they were challenged by his champion, which my Carnosaur proceeded to eat, and then challenged by his Chaos Lord Sorcerer, which my Carnosaur proceeded to eat, and then finally by his Battle Standard Bearer, which my Carnosaur then ate wholesale as well. And then they chased that unit. Didn't catch the Chosen were with the BSB and the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. This unit over here, I'm really happy they stayed. That would have been a lot of points. I mean, Scar Veterans in that. Rot Knights, man, those were tough. Strength 6 on the charge, and that hurt 1+ armor save. I'll say what was one of the coolest moments of the game for me was when my Scar Veteran ate through 5 Marauder Horsemen without them doing any wounds to him. The new Predatory Fighter came into effect. He rolled 4 attacks, and 3 of those he rolled 6s to generate extra attacks, and then with a great weapon and Wissen's Wild Form buffing him, he was at Strength 8 and just mauled through the rest of that unit. They didn't get anything. And then it was pretty cool here. I was able to get the right buffs off when all 3 of these units successfully charged the Hell Cannon. What was cool is that I would have expected to get these units because they were really close, but this unit over here needed a roll of 10 on 2 dice, and I rolled an 11, which proceeded to get them into combat. They didn't even get to fight because the Temple Guard were buffed to Strength 6, I think, with Wissen's Wild Form, because halberds and whatnot, they chopped the cannon to pieces. I'd say one thing that Brad does, he rolled a lot of 1s, but
at the same time, I rolled really well. And hey, we can at least give him credit for when he did roll 6s, he rolled a lot of them at the same time. Basically, just overview the game for me. I'm loving the new slam build. Still learning a few things about my new book, and it was a good game, and I had fun.
Sweet.